Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Healthy Hangout tonight. We're going to be talking about a great topic that Chris is going to be sharing about inflammation, which is really a hot topic. Get it? Sorry. Anyway, I'm going to introduce Chris and have her introduce her testimonial. So go ahead, Chris.
Hi, everyone. I hope you all had a great day. Tonight, I'm going to introduce Peggy, who is going to do her testimonial for us. I finally met her in person 2 weekends ago, I think. I'm so relaxed from that weekend, that I can't remember how long ago it was. But we had a great time and it was a lot of fun. And Peggy is a great inspiration to all of us. So take it away, Peg.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, and I know it seems like forever ago, but it was just a couple weekends ago. I could do that every weekend. We went to a spa and it was just fabulous. So, but it was really great to meet Chris in person and even Jennifer, my coach. So, um, but my journey with Optavia started November of 2019, actually, and yeah, I was not in a good place. I was in a really bad place. Struggled for my whole adult life with my weight, and was Jen's friend actually on Facebook, Jennifer Kilberman. You all probably know who she is. She's in Greece. We talked about her earlier. But yeah, so she's was my friend on Facebook for many years, and she reached out, but I just wasn't ready to, give her any time of my day or whatever. But November of 2019, I was back to the highest weight I've ever been in my adult life, and I was like, okay, I need to make a change. So I saw one of her posts, and I'm like, let's just give her a call, or shoot a text to her and see if she'll talk to me. And I got on the call with her, and oh, I was a mess. I was a mess. I poured myself out to her, truly, um, in such a dark place that I was actually in tears on the phone with her, and signed up right away. And I'm just like, I have to try this program. So I got on the program November 11th, actually, of 2019, and I put my head down and did the work. I just followed the program like I was, told to follow it. And it was super easy. I love the fact that you didn't have to count anything, you didn't have to think too much about it. Um, and I got on uh, the scheduled eating was really easy for me. I just set my timer every 2.5 hours, and my alarm would go off, and I'd eat my fueling, and I drink all my water. And the program is amazing. I mean, if you follow the program the way it's supposed to be followed, it's amazing things will happen. She called me every Tuesday, and for the first few weeks I was not exercising, but then she asked me just start little, and I did. I would get on the elliptical because it was winter, and do she said start with 20 minutes 3 times a day or 3 times a week, and I said okay. So Tuesday would be a day I would be on the elliptical, and in the beginning she knew I was on the elliptical. She could tell I was on the elliptical because I would get home from work and I'd hop on, and she would call me right at 5:30, and I'd still be on the elliptical. But then weeks went by and she didn't know I was on the elliptical. She go, "Are you on the elliptical like you're supposed to?" And I'm like, "Yes, I am." And she's like, "Oh, I didn't even know it." So I just continued the program, followed everything, and every single week I lost. I was very lucky, and every single week she would call me and I would have good news for her. Couple When I got close to the end of my weight loss journey, I had 2 weeks. I remember it was 2 weeks of no weight loss at all, and I'm like, "Oh, maybe this is where I'm supposed to be." But I was still feeling really good, and I still felt like I wanted to take off a little weight. So I just kept my head down and kept doing it, and I started losing again, and I got lower than I ever dreamed I would. I lost 96 pounds, and it was right around, I want to say, probably around 9 months. So it was the middle of summer of 2020, I got to my goal, and it was it was amazing. And then and Jen was just fabulous. And I mean, I don't want to I don't want to toot my own horn, but I was somebody who followed the program exactly. And when you do, it just is amazing. The program is just amazing. It really is. I can't say enough about it. It was wonderful, a wonderful program for me. And if you're determined and you want to get this done, you can get it done with this program for sure. And then my journey to coaching, because Jen kind of tried to get me to coach pretty early on in my journey, and it was all about me. I was just wanting to do this for me. I didn't have anything else on my radar. But when the pandemic hit, that's when I was like, I got to get this out to family and friends, because it's scary. It was scary. And you want your family to be healthy, to be able to take on whatever would come their way during an event like that. So that's when I started coaching, and it was and that was been an amazing journey as well. I mean, just being able to help family and friends get get to their healthy weight and stay there, it's great. So if any of you clients are thinking about it, I would highly suggest it, because the it's the best part of my day is when I talk to my clients. And I mean, you can hear the change in their voice as they go through their journey, and it's the most amazing thing. Um, I'm still on this journey. I'm excited for convention. I'm excited for what's to come. And yeah, so that's my story. That's where I mean, some of you maybe already heard it, but that's the Peggy story on Optavia, and it's continuing, because as I coach, I have more great things to say about all my clients and everybody that I've helped too. And all these ladies are family now, because I've gotten to know you all. And plugging into the community of Optavia is so important too. So I just wanted to reiterate that these Wednesday hangouts are a great place to gain knowledge and just get inspiration to continue on your journey wherever you are in it. So that's all I got, Chris. Back to you.
Thanks, Peggy. Thanks for sharing your story. I think every time I've heard it, you get more emotional with it. And it's amazing. But thanks for sharing, very much so. Okay, so tonight I'm going to talk about inflammation. And I was looking through the Habits of Health book, and I did this before, but it was like well over a year ago. And I was like, I'm going to do it again, because it just fascinates how much our, not only our environment, but our internal environment too affects our health. Inflammation is of the body, unless your body is optimized, the opportunity for your body to be attacked by your surroundings is a real threat that can easily become an all-out assault. The assault doesn't come from just the world around us, like I said, but from your inner world, especially if you've not provided it with proper type of amount of nutrition, the right amount of movement and sleep, and benefit of balanced relationships, or attended to the healthy mind that can create internal calm and balance. So Dr. Anderson was saying that all the 6 micro habits contribute to, you being healthy and your body not being in an inflammatory state all the time. Most of us think of inflammation as, just a cold, a sore throat, sometimes joints, whatever, when we get older. But really what it is your immune system is just its own 24/7 emergency service that seeks out intruders. So say you get a sore throat, and your body kind of heals itself in its own way, and that's what it's supposed to do. But when your body is repeatedly being exposed to things like stress, not sleeping, a terrible diet, like say you have donuts and coffee for breakfast, a fatty cheeseburger for lunch, a bowl of ice cream before you go to bed, fat around your middle, you smoke cigarettes, you don't move, you lay on the couch all the time. What's happening is your body is trickling these inflammatory chemicals into your bloodstream, and that in turn attacks your pancreas, your heart, all the blood organs in your body, which can only be detected with a special test. It's called a CRP, or a C-reactive protein, I believe. It's in the book. But what it does is measures when people have heart attacks. That's the lab work that the doctor will order to see how bad the heart attack is. But what this is these inflammatory biochemicals, and they go after your blood vessels, your joints, your brain, and other critical systems. And like I said, it may start with stiff joints or tired looking skin, or more menacing like cancer, stroke, or Alzheimer's disease. Not only our hostile environment stimulates our immune system every day with thousands of little exposures, the result damaging to your health, and longevity can be staggering. In fact, science is just starting to realize all this. And Dr. Anderson believes that if we didn't have all these inflammatory states constantly attacking our body, we could live to be 150 years old or more. But it's getting that immune system under control that's the hardest part. What we need to do is basically, could be anything in the air. Well, like I said, pollutions, environment, even something simple as sitting on the couch for too long and carrying the extra pounds around your middle, can be worse than any dangerous bacteria that your body is fighting off. The result of a big gulp loaded with high fructose corn syrup. I'm always talking to my new clients about this, because you don't realize how much the fructose corn syrup is in almost everything we eat that's like in the middle of the grocery store. So I tell them, stay on the outside of the grocery store, the dairy, the produce, the fruit when you're on maintenance, and the vegetables, definitely keep this inflammation down in your body. Your cardiovascular system, it causes high cholesterol, triglycerides. I remember dieting and losing a bunch of weight before, but my cholesterol would never go down like it has with this plan. It's because I still had all the high fructose corn syrups in my diet. I was having salad with a couple of croutons. I was having, a few whole wheat, crackers, or, anything, like I said, that's in the middle of the store is full of this stuff. Even like McDonald's, the French fries, they put it in the French fries. So kids want them because they're sweeter because of the high fructose corn syrup. The respiratory system, it makes you be a light sleeper, nasal polyps, sinus infections, which I always had before this program. And now I don't think I've had one since I started a couple of years ago. The gastrointestinal system, it causes ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, obesity, of course, inflammatory bowel disease. So anytime we're introducing all this added sugar or chemicals to our body, we're causing inflammation. Our body just is constant. And I know people that go on this plan, they feel better. Their joints feel better. My husband's first thing he noticed was his knees and ankles felt better. And it was, because he lost weight, but it was also because he wasn't inflamed. He wasn't in this constant inflamed state. It also can cause, with the brain, it can cause Alzheimer's, mood disorders, depression, schizophrenia, the endocrine system, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, diabetes, definitely. I was a borderline diabetic before I started this. Macular degeneration, that's another cause, it goes hand in hand usually with diabetes. And then there's breast, colon, and prostate cancers are all caused by our bodies being inflamed all the time. So what he wants us to do, like I said, is to, not eat all the stuff in the middle of the grocery store, but around the outside. Stay active, just keep that inflammation down as much as we can. And then when we start to live with an optimal health goal in mind and work toward that all the time, then, we'll fight this off even more. He also said, like I said before with the sitting, it's the most ignored health threat of our times. This lack of movement is activating our immune system and eroding our health, now killing more people in the world than smoking. So the sedimentary lifestyle that we have, I sit behind a desk all day long. So I try to get up for foolish reasons. Oh, I'm going to go to the copier halfway across the office and make a photocopy of something, just to get up and move. I try to get at least 5,000 steps in at work a day. And then the other 5 I try to do either on my lunch or at night. And my sister-in-law, Debbie's got me hooked on that. So thank you, Debbie. But yeah, he also said, are you at risk? And he's talking about the CRP test again. And it can boost your heart attack. The fact that elevated CRP can boost your heart attack risk by 300%, even if your cholesterol levels are normal. So you've seen people that, they got a clean bill of health from the doctor and 2 weeks later they have a massive coronary. Well, it wasn't the cholesterol, it was them with their body being in an inflammatory state. Now then he talks about the Western diet, known as the standard American diet, which is SAD, S-A-D, it's abbreviated as. It's full of processed high glycemic carbohydrates and saturated animal fats, both which are extremely inflammatory. In fact, many of the elements that make up these foods actually provide more toxins than nutrients. So you're thinking you're eating healthy, and really what you're doing is eating toxins, and that's what's causing all the problems in your body. So he suggests, when the next time you go to the doctors, to ask for a CRP level. You should be tested every 5 years using a high sensitive C-reactive protein assay, which can help determine your risk of heart disease and other inflammation related conditions. So that's a really good idea. In fact, the next time I do go to the doctors, I'm going to talk about that with the doctor, definitely. With the carbohydrates, he wants low glycemic foods, fruits and vegetables, especially those that are red, orange, or yellow. Now, I never knew that before. You think about all the fruits and vegetables that we have, and most of them do fall into that category. So he also talks about carotens, which are found in papaya, tangerine, yellow peppers, pumpkin, summer squash, sweet potatoes, carrots, and apricots and cantaloupes. Now, all these you can't have unless you're on maintenance, or through transition, I should say. Then he's blueberries, apples, onions, and grapefruit. The fats are he's always talking about healthy fats. The whole time that we're on this plan, we're introducing healthy fats into our diet. Not just fat, they're the healthy fats that we are to continue with after we go through transition. There's anti-inflammatory omega-3 oils, which are flaxseed, canola, walnut, and olive. And then there's fish, the mackerel, sardines, herring, salmon, bluefish, cod, scallops, tuna, lobster. There's nuts and seeds, flaxseed, walnuts, pecans, or pecans. There's green beans, the soybeans and the tofu, greens, spinach, kale, collard greens. And then there's inflammatory oils, which are made out of corn, cottonseed, safflower, sesame, and soybean. Margarine, of course, ultra processed foods or foods with a long shelf life. So those are the ones we have to stay away from. The omega-6 are the omega-6 are the ones that cause inflammation. The other ones are the anti-inflammatory. Then he's talking about oils, cooking oils with a high smoke point. It's determine the type of oil and the smoke, high heat for cooking. He also talked about when you grill, everybody thinks grilling is healthy, but when you char broil, like you burn things on the grill, that's one of the worst things you can do, because that's introducing cancer causing agents into your body, and also definitely causes inflammation. Any questions at all or comments? Just go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, Christine.
Hi.
I do have a question on the grilling. Is there any kind of grilling that is safe, given that it's
Yeah.
summertime and people want to grill?
Oh, sure. Just
So-
don't burn everything.
Just don't burn it. I understand. Okay.
Yeah. Because he talked about overcooking. which
Okay.
There was a lady I used to work with. She would never use the microwave and she would never grill. And that was why, because she always ate super clean too. So I always was fascinated by grill. Why don't you grill? That's the healthiest way to cook anything. And no, not really. Especially if you burn everything.
I guess you just have to be good at grilling.
Be good at
Yes.
it.
Yes, you have to be a good griller, not a bad
Okay.
grill.
Thank you, Christine.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
This is Dot. Someone had asked in the chat if, I was going to see here, does anyone know if some of these illnesses can be reversed with the program? And I definitely think they can be reversed.
Mhm.
Now, like if you're diabetic, and I've
Mhm.
seen lots of people who have brought their blood sugar down to completely normal and off of the medications. Obviously, if you start eating unhealthy again, I
Mhm.
mean, your blood sugar will go back up again. I've seen people who have had abnormal liver enzymes due to fatty liver, and they start eating healthy, and their liver enzymes go down completely to normal. Now, I would assume that there might be some fat cells there, but it definitely has controlled the inflammation.
Mhm.
So if you would start eating unhealthy again, it might go up again. But it definitely, I feel personally that I've seen it, people go into remission and control. They got control of their health, where before I kind of feel like you don't know how to control it. It's out of control. What do I do? And instead of
Mhm.
throwing a medication at it, you're taking such good control of your body again.
Mhm. I was definitely one of those people. I was pre-diabetic and they wanted to put me on metformin. They wanted to put me on a cholesterol medicine. I was already taking a blood pressure pill. They wanted to put me on another blood pressure pill. And that's when I contacted Jennifer and I was like, I have to do something, because I didn't want to go down that path of throwing medication at me to get better. And my hemoglobin A1C went from 7 to 2.5, 5.2, sorry. My cholesterol's normal. I'm not on any blood pressure medication anymore at all. So yes, you can reverse all of the inflammation. I'm not puffy swollen anymore like I used to be. So Definitely. It definitely does work.
I wish Lucy was on tonight. She'll watch this and see me give her a shout out, but she was my client and she started on program on metformin, multiple blood pressure medications. She was considered diabetic. They were planning on putting her on another diabetic medication. She got on plan as she started to lose weight. She was probably about down 30 pounds, maybe 35, 40 pounds. The doctor completely removed diabetic off her chart. Her A1C was normal, her cholesterol normalized, her inflammation was down, all her markers were down, and she's now just on one preventative hypertensive medication for what I remember her telling me. And that's for something that's like a genetic thing. It's not a, due to her weight status. And she has turned around everything and really, and hadn't even hit goal yet. It's just getting out of an inflammatory process and into that, inflammatory state she was in chronically. And just by turning that around, she turned her health around. So shout out to Lucy. That was one of her biggest things. And I was so proud of her for doing that. And that's what I'm seeing consistently across the board with a lot of my clients. So
Definitely.
yeah.
I'm just gonna hop in here and I want to thank Chris for sharing about inflammation, and I want to thank Peggy for being the testimonial. She's so awesome. I want to just say that yesterday I was listening to the radio and there was a doctor on who recently wrote a book called 7 Steps to Managing Your Memory. And last week I talked about exercising your brain as part of the what I spoke. And he actually said that the crossword puzzles and Sudokus are not really that helpful. But what he did say, and so I wanted to share it because I learned this, is that aerobic exercise, doing 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, is the most beneficial thing to do to help you with your brain health. He said it is the most, there were some studies that are done. He just wrote a book and, 7 steps to managing your memory. And he said aerobic exercise 5 days a week, 30 minutes a day is the most helpful thing for you to do to for your brain, for your memory, for mental health, not mental health, but you know what I mean. Also, he said social activities, positive mental attitude, and taking pleasure with being amongst friends and family. So, and here we are amongst friends and family. So our Habits of Health call is starting right now. I put the link in there. I'm going to put it in again. And for those of you who are coaches, you're going to stay on because we're going to have training with Amy and training with awesome Amy. And for those of you who are leaving us because you are not coaches, have a wonderful, wonderful week. And we will see you back here next week for our Healthy Hangout. And everyone have a great night. And those who are coaches, stay. All right. And I'm going to